Hello, welcome pen friends. Today I want to talk about something it's more or less a mindset that I think would be really helpful for beginners to cultivate right from the beginning of being in the fountain pen hobby, and it could actually save you a lot of regret in the future. So this all started because I have a loved one that threw away a fountain pen a couple years back. It was actually quite a long time before I got into fountain pens. And so this comes up every so often in our conversation, and I'll keep her anonymous because I don't, yeah, you know, I'm not doing this video to be critical of anyone who's thrown a pen away, because I've done it. I've done it. And I actually, in my case, I don't have any regret over that particular one that I threw it away. But, she threw away this pen, and it was an expensive pen because it wouldn't write, and it was a big frustration, and I totally understand. This is my loved one. And then recently it came up with a pen friend who shall remain anonymous, and I wished I'd gotten to this conversation sooner, so I don't want to wait any longer to have it. So I think we all need to cultivate somewhat of a parts mindset, you know, realizing that even if a pen won't write, or even if part of a pen breaks, you've got a lot of really good parts there. And I know I'm a collector and kind of a keeper and a somewhat of a pack rat, so it comes naturally to me to tear something apart if it breaks and keep what might be useful. And so I've done that in almost every case. But before we even get to that, if you just take the core question of what do I do if my pen breaks, in the case of my loved one, she definitely could have returned the pen. It was an expensive pen. It was actually from Levenger, and I kind of cringe every time she mentions it because I sure wish I had that pen, you know. And I don't actually have one yet from there, and I have admired the looks of the pens. But it is not out of my sense of understanding that one could ink up a pen and it won't write. I've had that happen multiple times. And part of what I like about the pens I now write with and choose, you know, I've come to know which pens I can really rely on. And so most of the time I don't get that anymore, but it comes up. It will come up. So, but keep in mind that you can probably return the pen if you purchased it from a retailer, especially, you know, Levenger or Goulet pens, or Van Ness or Anderson or Penchalet or Gold Spot or Lemur, or anywhere like that where it's a pen store. They're going to want to at least help you, and there's a possibility you can replace, you know, have it either replaced, or you can work through the issue. That happens a lot too. So but sometimes it's a $1 pen or a $4 pen that we bought from China, or we got cheap, or, you know, and then it breaks. And I had one, I don't recall exactly what the name of it was, but it was a it was actually a knockoff of a Lamy All-Star, and oh, I threw it away. I didn't even save the nib on that one. But that is not how I go about things normally. Normally, if something breaks, I put it in a baggie, and I get some space, because it can be very frustrating when it either breaks or doesn't work, or I can't get it. And I'm not going to say can't get it back together, but like in the case of a piston filler where the mechanism won't quite work, and I know I've got to work on it, and I don't have time to really do the right thing or watch some video to learn what I need to do. I have learned that if I put, you know, some time between me and that frustration, that helps. But I now have quite a bit of a collection of parts, you know, and I've got nibs, I've got some feeds. I can't find some of my little bags, which is part of why I'm doing this video too, is to say that the more organized we can get, the better. But even if you aren't organized and you do save it, you will find that bag of parts if you one day say, oh, it's raining, I've got nothing better to do, and I'd like to tackle that pen, because that's fun. That's often a lot of fun to do that, you know, but we don't always have time, and sometimes it could be a year before I might get time to to want to tear a pen apart or really look at it and see, do I have parts? I'm thinking of one that I'll show you when we get to the pen desk. There are two that are very similar, and one is such a frustration, and I don't want to return it. I have a feeling it's me. It's maintenance. It's trying to go ahead and get the pen apart and grease it and whatnot. But I actually have two the same, so I'm thinking, yeah, I've got a lot of potential there. They're the nibs that are still good. The feeds are really nice, and they are pens from India that I just haven't taken the time yet to learn and spend that little effort or big effort, whichever it turns out to be. But I've saved the pens, and one came from Larry's fountain pen. It was there's no problem with that one. Ironically or interestingly, the problem is with the one I ordered, purchased myself, and had bad luck with it from the start. But I had already had one replaced, and I just had the feeling that I have more to learn about that pen. But okay, so harvest your parts at least. That'd be my number one tip. And if you're really, really frustrated, just throw it all in a baggie and put it away so that you aren't tempted to just trash it, because you could regret it later. There's some really nice nibs on some of these pens that I'm talking about. And in other cases, nothing more than a converter. But, I wouldn't want to throw a pen with a converter in it, because converters, so it's tempting to just buy some Gen House to just get a couple extra converters. I mean, seriously, but they always come with converters, so there's no sense in that. But if I've stained a converter and I want another one, good grief, those Gen House converters are it's a dollar or two to buy another pen. Okay. So the other tip is, this is totally disorganized, and I wasn't trying to, make an organized video. I was really trying to have a chatty video, and I have my coffee in my hand, so I need to probably slow down. But anything you can label, or you do label, and you'll see when we get to my mess, you will thank yourself for that. You really will, because you're going to say, oh, I know what this is, and stick it in one corner of a little drawer. I've done it many times. And then later you're going to say, oh, which pen does this go to? Oh, and it's not labeled, Now, several of them are labeled. I mean, the Lamy converters, I know what they look like, no problem. The Gen House are all labeled. But I've got some that I don't know what they are. And then I've got others where I took the time to put them in the little baggie and just quick label it, and I'm very grateful to myself for doing that. So especially if you're a newcomer to the hobby, if you've been around a while, you're probably like, this is not new. This is not new. But hopefully you'll see something in here that might be helpful. I've done this before in terms of showing you how I store my nibs and my cartridges, but I recently kind of solved a problem where I have the longer cartridges and I didn't have a plastic container for those. And I really like this basket. It's a dollar basket from Dollar Tree, because I can kind of file those plastic containers in there, and it's easy on and off the shelf, and there's no chance of me losing track of them. Because if I start putting things into drawers where I can't see it well, or I can't just grab the basket and then get it, then I run into trouble, because I am a very visual person who needs to kind of see where things are and keep track of them that way. So we will move over to the pen desk, and that's a side of the camera that I'm more comfortable with anyway. And I'll just kind of talk you through what I'm trying to organize right now and how I've gone about it as far as keeping parts and so forth. But let me know before you throw a pen away, okay? There's always a chance that it's a good idea to just trash it. But then again, there's probably parts that you haven't really considered that you might want to keep. So I'll see you on the other side and get a little more caffeine in me, and we'll just keep on going. Okay, before we move over to the desk, I just wanted to show you, this is where I keep those blue baskets with the different things. right here are the nibs and cartridges and a few stampers that kind of stand upright. And over here, I guess in the top I've got some ink samples, but that's all stamping supplies. And then down here is my, oh boy, my ink samples, all, most of those I've already reviewed. In this basket here, they're all empty bottles and sample containers, so I can share ink and recant things as I need to. These are bagged by color, and yellow didn't actually have a canister yet, and I'll show you. And then it just kind of gets messier. Oh, and these containers here are sorted like Lamy and my tools and my different measuring things. And in the middle here, these are the tile files that I have, and some stampers and a mess over there. But then down here is where I'm now keeping the little shell boxes with all my different samples. There's 25 capacity in each color. Okay, and one more pit stop. I like these boxes that come in the mail. I just cut the tops off and use them. Right now, this one is for Birmingham ink samples of the old formula. And I'm real excited about it because, you know, I needed to separate that out because got some of the new ones coming in and I don't want to get confused. So they're there. And then I've got, this is for 30 inks, 30 days. I'm getting organized. Actually, I have more than 30, but I'll narrow it down. And then these are full bottle representing, you know, sample vials. So now we can go down to the desk here so I can talk to you. Whoops. There. So I highly recommend just boxes. I just cut the top off them, and sometimes I regret that because I could use it for shipping, but for the most part, I use padded envelopes or the priority stuff for shipping. But I do need to work on my Schaefer cartridges and storage. So I've got that over here. And I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But, oh, and this was my Birmingham that I recanted into a smaller bottle. So that'll go up there in the old formula stuff. Okay, so this is an example. This is a very sad example, but it's not a bad ending yet. But this pen, I couldn't get things to work right, and I didn't have time to service it right and maybe watch a video. And I know I've got everything here. I did put the nib, to just safe keep the nib, I put the nib over here into my nib container. But I've got to work on that pen, and I love it. And so, let's see, where did I put it? It's in here somewhere. Oh my, that's not a good start. I thought it was right here, but no, that is... Oh no, it is. Okay, this is the Nemesis nib that was on it. So the nib is safe while I get my act together. Because what happened was I got it back in there, but then the piston mechanism wasn't working right. So that's an example of, I don't want to get over frustrated and start, you know, getting, break something. So then this is another one. This is a little bit complicated here. This was just total wreckage, but I saved these two parts. It broke, like, okay, the nib was okay, I saved that. The feed was not okay. The feed broke. So this was a muffed, I think, and I've got another one. So I thought, why not save what's left of it, because I might crack something on the other one. And then these two are the ones I was talking about. This one came from Larry in a giveaway a long time ago, and I haven't had any real trouble with this piston, you know. But I noticed, let's see, this has like a medium nib on it and a nice feed, and I was going to look at it better okay, the feeds are different, but still that's another nice medium nib from Fountain Pen Revolution. So I wouldn't want to get rid of, I was really frustrated with this red one because I thought, and it writes really good, but I'm just not having I'm not having any luck with the piston. And so it's something that I need to slow down if I'm gonna take the time. But once I found TWSBIs, I didn't really mess with this type of pen anymore. But this one here, I don't like the pen as much. I like the red one. So I don't know what's possible. But by keeping all this, there may be some way to fix this. I don't know. So, but I do know that there'll be a day when I really need something like that to do, and I'll be excited to do that. So that's just a little sample of what okay, this is another sample of hoarding or saving things. And what I discovered was a neat thing. I discovered that in this Ferris wheel press box, you could actually fit a Twist Me Eco. If you didn't have the original box, which folks, I do. I save all my boxes. I'm the total opposite of one of my pen friends who was just commenting the other day. She was like, I don't save my boxes. And I was thinking, oh man, I save everything, I think. But I do go through things and recycle and sometimes. But for the most part, I think the nature of what I'm doing here with this channel, you know, I keep everything. This is a snorkel. I have not used that. I understand the concept, but I haven't used it yet. But I had it in my mind that another like rainy day project. Okay, then this here, this is a Pilot Petite 2. So it has the marker tip. I actually love these. I've got a black one that I use all the time. But I haven't inked this one up yet, but there was another, oh my goodness, I guess it's not here. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so I harvested the cap off of this Petite 3, because I hadn't used the Petite 3. Something happened to my other cap on my regular, like it was like this color. This is another felt tip one of the Petite 2. And then this is like a paintbrush one here. Anyway, because I ruined the cap on this one, I switched from here to here. So caps and nothing's off limits. You know, you may need a part. Okay, and now of course I save everything the ink can go into, and people have actually sent me some too, so very generously, and I appreciate that because it comes in really handy. I save things like this to put little small parts in. I'm just giving you ideas because when you first start out, you might not realize how helpful it is to have these things. And then these, I don't know why I saved them. This is a little mint tin, and I saved a lot of my little Lamy, the little things that come in there in between to make sure that the cartridge doesn't puncture. I saved these. This is just the top off of a, no, I can't think of what they're called, but it's like an eyedropper, only it's a plastic one. And I know there's a name for it, and hopefully I can think of it. But I put these on top of my Serendipity to keep them, if I've got it inked up and I don't put a cover on it. Then eyedroppers, if these come with something outside of the fountain pen world, I do save them because those are handy. There's a bent one. I guess I've used that one more. I don't know, but some of this stuff, I just don't have it organized. There's a little Krishna ink pot that someone sent me. It's so cute. And that would be really good for like sharing some Noodler's ink because it's big enough. Okay, there's my little Caveco Converter, which is sort of on probation. I haven't really used it because when I did use it, I felt like I went through that ink so fast that what I do with my Caveco Sport is eyedropper it. But I thought, what if I run into a situation where I don't want an eyedropper and I don't want to use the cartridge? So I did save it, and I'm glad it's labeled because I could forget, although it does say Caveco, so that would help. I have some parts here for a Wingsung 3008. I first bought the wrong ones too long, and Manuel said, well, let's get the right, you know, length. So I went back and got, these may not be the right length, but they worked. The other set really did work because the ones that come in the, in fact, I have one here that I can demonstrate what's going on with it if I can find it. Let's see. Okay, I could not find the actual pen, but this is the one that I did fix. So the screw down inside this 3008, it gets all rusty, but this is the one that I replaced with these. M4-7.7 times 6 millimeter. It was probably too long, but it didn't matter. It just did fine. The one that came out of it was slightly shorter. It didn't matter. So that's just something that I really like. Now this one is really stained from King Philip, so it's pretty much a King Philip pen now, but that's okay. So I hope I'm getting you into the idea of thinking about parts and pieces. This goes on a Schaefer. Huh. That should probably be in a vial. Let's see. I do like to put them in there just to protect them because they shouldn't just be rolling around in a drawer, in my opinion. And then I save little things like this. This is a little pill box because I can put anything, nibs or small things. Some of these converters, there's a Jinhao one. I have no idea where this one came from, but you know, I would probably be able to experiment a little bit. Oh, there's a pretty little Caveco clip that my pen friend Sharon sent, I think. And then this goes on a Preppy. This is actually really useful. It's a little rollerball tip. So some of this, I need to organize it. But let me show you what I did get recently from, or repurpose, I guess. This stuff, this is my project. It's not raining, but it's actually one of those days where I have to stay by the phone, or I have a conference that I have to get on, so I can't really go anywhere because I'll probably forget about the conference. So this solved one of my problems. This is a MT. It's a case guard. Anyway, it's just like the ones that hold all the ink samples, the 25, only it's for something else to do with cleaning pistols or rifles or whatever. Whoops, I don't normally have trouble opening that. So this one will accommodate the longer cartridges. I've got platinum, my Pilot Vanishing Point protector thing that I must not lose, and gosh, I don't have very many Pilot cartridges. I couldn't find more than that red one. And then this is new. This is the Parker cartridges and converter, a long one, some shorts, and the converter. So I got to keep track of that and know what's going on. And then the Lamy ones fit here. Well, this one I got at the Dollar Tree worked good, but it only had one slot for longer cartridges. So it worked great for my, whoops. Oh, that's a refilled one. For my Caveco and Standard and Moonman, and even the Petites fit in here. Pilot Petites, I love those. And then I have some empty ones because I can refill them. And these little things that I reviewed, which I'll connect the review, that plug them up so you can keep them filled and have it ready in your kit. So I've really enjoyed this, and I've showed it before. And then this is a key to the city as far as I'm concerned, is keeping my nibs organized. I think I'm about to outgrow it. I'll probably have to get a bigger one because I'm getting frustrated. I wanted this to fit better and stay in its baggie, and it didn't really fit very well, but it's okay as long as I don't damage anything. And then also I have down in here the new Ahab. I have 2 nibs for that are non-flex. So I kind of feel like I'm outgrowing this, but it's okay. And then these are my TWSBI mediums that end up in here because I'd rather write with the broad and the stub nib. And then there's that Nemesine one. So yeah, I could probably use a bigger one, and that's a medium Lamy nib. So I just want you to think about parts and how you can begin to think of things, even if they frustrate you and you're ready to throw it away, there's going to be some valuable parts you want to keep probably. And then this is my, just on top of my desk, I have it here all the time. That looks ugly. Let's take that off. So that I can access quickly a little lobster band, an ink syringe, some silicone grease for my eyedropper pens, and that's a brand new Lamy converter. Woo! Nice. And then I have this for quick access too. It's my little Serendipity with a Goulet. I think that's a medium, but it might be a fine. No, it's a fine. Goulet fine nib on it, ready to test something out. I think this this came off the top of the larger ink syringe, which is just so big. The larger ink syringes are great for when you're wanting to fill up, you know, a 10 ml sample bottle, a larger bottle. You can kind of keep track of how much you're putting in there. And that's a pocket pen and little, the little brass shims to use, and just a handy, has to be right at my fingertips kind of stuff. That stays right on my desk. So I hope this was a little bit useful or gets you thinking. I do need to organize these, I guess, because I seem to throw this baggie in with all those ink samples and then I'm trying to find it. You know, it's just not very handy. But that's the fun of it, is finding solutions. That coffee's getting cold. Uh-oh, microwave, here we come. So think about it. Let me know, like email me before you throw away a pen, because I'll talk you down. I'll tell you to get a baggie and put it away or you know, something, and put it away and think about it first. And or I'll you know, like, I don't know. I just think that that I would regret it if I had done what my loved one or my pen friend, you know, resorted to with the particular pens that they mentioned. It's not, I mean, you know, I can see it when you bust a feed like I did on a little Jinhao 992. I threw away the feed, but I still kept the body, because that's okay. I can find another feed for that. And I have nibs, so if I spring a nib or break it and I just don't think it can be fixed or it's not worth fixing, I can go ahead and you know, find my replacement parts little by little, because chances are I've got something in my stash or in another pen that I'm not using, which brings me to just one more thing. I do love my cigar boxes still, and this is one of my favorite cigar boxes. This one just houses pens that that I'm not writing with at the moment. Like this one here, this was great, Wing Sung 3007, but when I refilled it with another ink, not what came with it, I had a bad experience. But that was just one ink. I'm going to try it again. And I have a new one, I think. Yeah, I have this one that has... Oh no, I ran through that ink too? Oh, okay. I hope I cleaned that before I put that back in there. Got to watch those things. And then here's that other pen that looks like the one that I had all the parts for. I still can't believe that other one broke, but it did. It was traumatic, believe me. A few pens that I've had a little bit of initial trouble with that I want to smooth the nib. Excess of 599s, you know, but I love this little thing here, and this has got tons of parts, because look, even on this one here, if I needed a converter, I could come in and grab the Jinhao converter off of this one. You know, if I stain one real badly and I want to save that for a particular ink, I could come and harvest another one off of here. And it's not to say that all these are just pen parts. This is a neat pen here, and it's cleaned up. I remember doing it, a Euchre's felt tip. Anyway, that's all. I've said too much probably, but I'm hoping that it opened the conversation and you can let me know what you think. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.